Your Partner in Success Radio is a free business podcast with host Denise Griffitts. It's all about great stories, conversation, and context to help you move your business and life forward with actionable tips and advice from her guest experts. To listen and subscribe, just find us on iTunes, Google Play, or wherever you consume your podcasts.
Good morning. I am Denise Griffitts, and our topic today is Asphalt and Algorithms, Randy Chaffee's hybrid sales playbook for building lasting business wins. This episode is sponsored today by Ben Gay III. Y'all know him. He is a legendary sales trainer, a best-selling author, and the visionary behind the Closers series. Now, Ben's classic resources are essential for anyone committed to getting results in sales. You can find the Closers books at Ronzoni Books, Ronzone Books on eBay, and you can also tune into the Closers Inner Circle podcast with me and Ben each Wednesday on your Partner in Success Radio. And today I'm excited. I am honored to welcome Randy Chaffee to the show for a conversation that blends decades of sales wisdom with fresh strategies for thriving in today's marketplace. We're friends. We've been friends for a while. We're colleagues. And I've got to tell you, Randy is a master connector. He is a seasoned sales pro and the force behind Hybrid Road Warrior Randy. And he'll tell you what that means in a bit. For over 40 years, he has led the way in metal roofing and building materials industry. And you wouldn't think that that would be terribly interesting, but just wait. Helping brands grow and sales teams adapt to a changing marketplace. And we're going to talk about where COVID took him. And through his award-winning work at Source One Marketing, his dynamic Building Wins Live podcast, and his latest book, Asphalt and Algorithms, he champions the blend of old school client care. And this is really what we're getting to today. Old school client care and cutting edge digital tools. So whether Randy is on the road, behind the mic, or guiding sales professionals, his approach is authentic, customer first, excuse me, and always focused on delivering real business wins. Good morning, Randy. It's good to have you here, and congratulations on your book.
Hey, good morning, Denise. Thanks for having me on. And you nailed Asphalt and Algorithms perfectly. It took me about 17 times before I could say it right. So I I actually told my marketing people that I didn't think I liked the title only because I couldn't say it or spell it.
Well, I had to put you on pause a couple of times so I could practice it. So I don't know what that's all about, but it's not an easy word, is it?
It's not. And when they first, and we'll talk about the story of how that title, because that was not my original title, but when I decided that I was okay with it and then I actually liked it, my biggest problem is I told Rich and Victoria and my editor Gail, is I said, the problem I have is I can't spell it, but I have Chester, my chat GTP guru. But so that part's easy enough. But I said, I don't know if I can ever say Asphalt and Algorithms correctly, both together. And so I practiced, like I rode down the road just saying it over and over and over and over. And I finally got it now. So you nailed it after 3 times. So that's not bad.
Well, I bit my bottom lip accidentally. I'm not bleeding, but it hurt.
No, I can imagine. Yeah, it was. I had asphalt into asphalt. I had all kinds of crazy stuff but I speak like a mid-Michigan hillbilly because that's kind of where I grew up. So that's what you get with me.
Yeah, but it's a great title. I mean, you're like asphalt, algorithm. What does that even mean? The curiosity factor is high with this.
Good. Well, I'm glad you like it. A funny story with that. So my original title, my working title for the last year and a half, 2 years of putting this book together was My Journey to Hybrid. And that's what I wanted, because as we're going to talk, it's all about the hybrid journey with me. And we'll talk about what that means to Randy. But that was my working title. And we got down towards the end, and I was on a Zoom with my marketing team. So we had my marketing guy and the book designer and my editor. And they approached me finally with, hey, Randy, we got to talk to you about your book title. And my editor, Gail, I believe it was, said, now I know you're married to this title. And I said, folks, I'm not changing my title. I'm not changing my title. They said, okay, just listen to us, right? And I said, I'll listen. And they said, we don't like it. Okay, well, that's a little hurtful, but I'll get over that. Well, what do you mean they don't like? I said, well, not that we don't like it, but people that follow you and know you will understand what that means because I talk about it every day. But people that don't know you, that you want to get beyond your genre of influence, if you will, aren't going to know what that means. Are you selling hybrid cars? Or what are you talking about? I said, okay. They talk some more and kind of cut to the chase of this thing. Richard said, why don't you think about it for 2 or 3 days, because you're going to have to say this thing 25,000 times. It's got to be a title you believe in and you want to and are good with. I said, okay. So it's funny as I went out of my office and at home and my wife, the Dixie chick, she says, was that, how'd your meeting go was that with the book team? I said, yeah. I said, it didn't go worth a crap. She said, what happened? I said, they don't like my title. And she goes, well, I'm glad somebody finally told you that.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. And let me sit down for I need a Dr. Pepper. I guess
there was a quorum.
There was a quorum. I think I was secretly attacked and didn't even realize it. But so bottom line is she didn't like the title of the new one that well either. But I thought about it and thought about it. And really it came from the fact of asphalt. That's where I cut my teeth in the sales world 4+ decades ago, right? Is riding the roads and bro hugging and kissing babies, which by the way, you should ask permission before you do that, I found, but you know,
yeah.
You do. But anyway, pizza pie lunches and all those things. And so we talk about asphalt, but then my last several years have been really putting a lot of effort into the algorithm side of things as well, and joining those two or marrying those two together. And so I thought about it and thought about it. I asked some people in a mastermind group that I belong to. I asked some other people, and they're all going, yeah, I like that a lot.
You know, I think you asked me too, and I
did I?
Big thumbs up. Yeah.
Yes, I think I did. I think
Yeah.
I did. Yes. And, you know, so all of a sudden I was funny. So I called Rich back. I said, hey, Rich, that's my marketing guy. I said, I think I'm good with the asphalt and algorithms. He said, you think? I said, yeah. He goes, call me back in a couple of days. Whoa, what? He goes, thinking is not good enough. I need you to love it. I need you to love it. And I don't say he hung up on me, but he dismissed me. and so I gave it another day, and I called him back and I said, I'm fully on board with it. He said, fully. I said, yes. And so that's where we rolled with it. But we did keep the hybrid part in there a little bit with the subtitle, which was important to me. I want people to understand what the focus of the book, I guess, was. Yeah, so that's how that went down. But the key lesson to all that, to me, was you never want to. We've all talked about this a million times, right? But you never want to be the smartest person in the room. I clearly wasn't. That's why I hired these people. But secondarily, I recognized the importance, even though I already knew that, but recognized the importance there of listening to the people smarter in the room, right? I know my industry. I know what I mean by hybriding. I know what I mean and what I want to talk about. They never changed my voice, but I also listened to somebody that knew better than I how to market this book and a title and the importance of it. So, you know, it was a good lesson there, Denise. And once I got past the hurt feelings of hating my title that I loved for 2.5 years, but that's okay. I'm over it now. I love it now. And I can even say it. Asphalt and Algorithms. Look how good I said that.
I know, when you did it twice in a row.
I know. Boom.
I know. So we must be done here before both of us bite our.
I know. That's okay. Thanks for having me on. It's been
been nice knowing you, Randy.
It's been great. So the key to anybody that's going to write a book, and as you well know, is it's got to be a title you can say. That's really important.
Yeah. And you mentioned the tagline, and it's important that we tell our audience what it is. The tagline is a road warriors playbook for winning results in the hybrid sales arena. Well, you know, with the title, what the heck does that mean? And then you explain it with the tagline, but the curiosity factor is still high because now you need to know what's a hybrid sales arena. What the heck?
Yep, exactly. No, I think I got to tell you I think we nailed it on the title and the subtitle, and I say we, and I do mean the team. They did a great job with that, and I'm pleased with the cover. The cover design thing was fun. Was not even close to what my original one was. You'll get a kick out of this because we've talked about our friend Chat and Chester and our Chat GTP friends, right? And
mine is Uncle Chat, and we've had words
Uncle Chat.
recently.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know you told me, and I think you should apologize later. If I think that would
No,
be
no,
no.
he came back and apologized. He asked me the next day, "Are you calm now?" No, I'm not.
Well,
I told him to go to his room. No joke. He said,
nah.
"Denise, that's the best advice I've had all day." And he hung up on me.
That's so funny. That's so funny. And as we was talking earlier, the other day, I had that same sort of thing. Is I was getting so frustrated with Chester, and it finally said, "Hybrid Randy." That's what it refers to me as. I said, "What?" And it goes, "I think you need to end this for today, and let's pick it up tomorrow."
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, I think I've been dismissed by
I think
a
what we
little.
both learned is do not curse at Chat GPT. It doesn't like it.
Yeah, it doesn't like that. I found that out. It's interesting because that's a key part of my language at times.
Well, and
But
keyboard, when you're on a keyboard, you're like, nobody's going to pay attention. Oops, sorry.
oh yeah. Good old Chester. He yelled at me, but that's okay. I probably needed it. But no, it's been it's great to be on talk about the book because it's one of those things I feel like I probably might maybe I don't say the most. There's a lot of important things I feel like I've done, having kids, doing all that, all the grandkids, all that stuff. But um, I'm just excited, super excited to get my thoughts out there for people if it matters to anybody.
And I knew we had talked about it some years ago when you and I first met, and we met because of COVID,
Mm-hmm.
which, and you know, it's the strangest thing, Randy. I mean, it seemed like nobody was talking about it for about the last year, like, oh, it's done, it's over. But now, my guests are coming on and we're talking about what happened during COVID. It's still lingering. The damage it did, the business we lost, how we're operating now. It's going to linger, I think, for a long time. But before we get too far into this conversation, which means you're going to be doing the talk and I'm going to be sitting here just listening. But what what did COVID do? Because you were a road warrior. I mean, you were on the road all the time, and all of a sudden that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, that is really the start of this process here, and a lot of things that I've done over the last several years. Denise, is you're right. I was the okay. I'm going to try a word here. Quintessential. That's close. Road warrior. Um, windshield time, 80, 90,000 miles a year on a car, plus flights and hotels. And I mean, sometimes I checked out of hotels and thought I saw myself checking in, right? It's like, it's like, it's just go, go in
Right.
one relationship at a time, right? Pizza pie at lunch, burger and brews in the evening, coffee and donuts in the morning, going to clients' weddings and funerals and whatever else. You're building that relationship, right? And I loved it. That was my juice. I couldn't get enough of it. And then all of a sudden, COVID hit out of the blue. And I remember when it hit, and I talk about it in the book. I was at a sales meeting that we all knew we shouldn't go, and management didn't want us to, but we all convinced everybody that we should because that's what we do. We get together and that we're people communicator people, communication type people. Wow, that's easy for you to say. And so I remember when it all happened, and I remember on the plane trying to get home, the whole world's ending, it seemed like. And in my mind, the world is ending because as a sales guy, I built my whole career. The only thing I knew was going out every single day, week after week after week, seeing customer friends and developing relationships. And so it was a little scary time. Scary because what's the mean period for business? What's Randy going to do? Because that's what I do, right? So uh, I started spending some time on my iPad on the plane on the way home from that trip. I started listening to some podcasts, joined a masterminds group, and all of a sudden the whole world of virtual just sort of opened up in front of me. Everybody was doing live streams at the time because nobody could travel, so I stuck my hat into that ring and started a podcast about 4.5 years ago, right in the heart of COVID as it started, and we didn't stop. And so I think the rounding this out real quickly, that we had to adapt. We had to adapt quickly, and there was this old school thought process, Denise, that we're never going to. This is all this virtual stuff, whatever you want to call it, is ridiculous, and we're just going to wait until this goes back to normal.
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
And way too many people did that, by the way.
I know, and it's crazy because what I found, as much as I miss seeing customers during that period of time, I could be with them every day on cell phone, Zoom or Teams or Google Meet or whatever we use, right? They could hear from me every day, multiple times a day, via video, via whatever else I'm doing, the podcast and guesting on podcasts like yours, and doing the stuff that we've all did during that time. And I figured out that, okay, during this little, where I went kind of this hybrid mode in my mind, was you had the old school people, like I just said, we're never going back. We're not going to do any of this hocus pocus, virtual garbly goop, right? We're not doing any of that. It's dumb, not doing it. I'd call BS on that at the time because it works. I mean, it puts you in front of thousands and thousands of people every day, not the 4 people that you can finally get on the phone in between their meetings, right? Secondarily, there was the other school of thought that we're never going to get in a car or an airplane and go out and see 12 people today and go have pizza lunch and do the, dinner, brewskis and beers in the evening. Not going to do that stuff. That's never going to happen. It's all going to be virtual. I call big BS on that. I think in all industries, but especially in my world, we're very people oriented. It's just that's the way this business is built, and it's still built that way. So I remember, and the hybrid idea, Denise, comes from when I grew up on the farm, which I started my book. I talk about the lessons I learned from my dad growing up on the farm, because he's really the reason. He's been gone 30 years, but he's the ultimate reason I wrote the book, to be brutally honest. But I remember growing up on the farm, he sold Pioneer brand seed corn, which seeds and wheat and a lot of different things. And you'd hybrid plants, right? Based on the soil, the conditions, and seeds would be different in the South than they would be in the North because of growing seasons. And it was called hybriding, right? And I thought, why can't I take the old school that works, the old school that I love, and combine it with the new love I had, which is I really just dug the whole virtual algorithmic. I just made that word up. Algorithmic. That was good.
I'm not going to try it. I'm glad you said it.
Don't ask it. Yeah, don't ask again. Don't ask it. Don't ask me to repeat that one. I got half of it right, and the other half sort of butchered it. So, but I enjoyed both, and I believed in both. So that's why I'm going, why can't I hybrid these two together and be both physical, in person, continuing those relationships in person, bro hugging, shaking hands, kissing babies, the whole thing, and also continue to do the force multiplier effect of doing the virtual thing. And
right.
So then I spent time doing that, Denise. And it's in when we came out of COVID finally, because if you remember, we was in and out a couple of times, right? It's over. We can travel. Well, no, you can't. No,
and they're trying it again now. So
yeah, oh yeah, and
behave.
They can bite me on that. Anyway, did I say it out loud? I did say it out loud.
I'm with you on that. It's like, you want me to do what? I never did wear a mask, and I did not get the shot, and I am perfectly healthy.
I am too. I refused to get the shot, and the only time I ever wore a mask was where they're going to throw me out if I didn't, and then I did it begrudgingly, like 7 steps in before I finally pulled it up, just as a show of I disagree with you, but whatever. I also want to eat here, so I guess I'll follow some rules. But anyway, but what I learned out of all that is I don't want to go back, and I don't want to stay forward. I want to do both all the time, all day, every day. And I think that's the real key to my vision, and what I talk about a lot as we get further into the book. Is it's not a one or the other. It's not either be an old schooler or a new schooler. It's being both, and it's not being, because I did a talk at an event here, I don't know, a year ago about this, and I remember somebody asked, he said, so in your day, how much time do you spend on one or the other? I says, all of it. Every day is always a hybrid day. And I said, so if I'm traveling, I'm doing the old school, right? I'm stopping and seeing customer friends, and we're going out to lunch, doing all those things, building those person-to-person relationships in person. But at the same token, I'm shooting a quick video of us together in their shop. I'm shooting a video from the road. I'm posting stuff. I'm being I'm accelerating that force multiplier effect that I think that has, but I'm still doing it while on the road. If I'm working from home office, obviously that gets accelerated a little bit because I'm not on the road. So, but you're still doing the phone calls, you're still making the texts, you're still doing the emails. So I think the key is it's not like, well, I'm going to be virtual Randy today and I'm going to be old school Randy tomorrow. It's you're going to be both simultaneously all day, every day. And does that sound difficult? Probably when I say it, it sounded difficult, but
No, I do the
it's
same
not.
thing.
It's not.
I'm a web developer by trade. I'm a podcaster because I love it. I do both all day long.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, people to, work-life balance. There's no such thing.
No,
I'm working all the time. I'm living all the time. But,
exactly.
when you and I first met and we were talking about COVID, and you took one thing that I really admired when you were telling me your story was that you took action. Dr. Napoleon Hill, Think
Mm-hmm.
and Grow Rich, take action. I don't know how many times he said it, but a lot. But one of the things that you and I were talking about was, I think I said to you, I am so sick of the term new normal. There is
Yes.
no such thing. There were several words that I would just flinch when I heard them.
Oh yeah.
But what I noticed, and you noticed it probably quicker than I did because I am a WordPress developer, that people just disappeared. And you didn't. You just said, well, I'm going to find a way to still stay in touch with my customers, but they would just disappear. And I remember for a period of several days going to websites. I didn't know who these people were. I hadn't built their site. I didn't care. But I would say, listen, you're not telling your customers where you are, how to reach you. And I wrote out a little script. I said, please think about putting this on the front page of your website. Have your web developer do it. Do something. We're here. You can reach us. Here's our phone number. We have not gone away. And Randy, it was shocking to me how many people said, we didn't even think about that. Well, you were panicking. Panicking doesn't
Mm-hmm.
help. Take care of your customers.
Exactly. Exactly. And like with most things, it doesn't seem like it at the time, but the I don't know if I would have went this direction as much as I have without COVID happening. I would
Probably not, but
I
you
don't
were
think I
forced
would have.
into it.
I
Yeah.
was, but see because and so from that standpoint, I feel blessed. Odd as this sounds, that happened. Only from the stand, not that anybody got sick, not any of that stuff, not all the business that was lost, but just the fact that if it happened, I guess what I really want to say is I'm thankful that somehow my goofy, beady little mind understood that there's an evolution that needs to happen here, and maybe even a revolution in my own way of doing things. That uh, you've got an opportunity now, and by not being able to travel, I had lots of time to develop the game, if you will, that I knew nothing about. Right? I mean, me turning on a computer is a challenge at times. Right? If it comes on and you appeared today, I'm like happy. I was panicking because I was on before you and you weren't here. I think I sent you a LinkedIn Messenger. Hello, I'm here. Hello.
And I was crawling underneath my desk saying bad words because
I,
something had come undone.
yeah. So yeah. Well, I get it. And so that's my general go-to mentality, and I don't go there on purpose, is I have a statement I make, and I don't know other people. I might have stole this. If not, I'll claim it. But yes, I have this relationship with technology, which is I love to hate it and hate to love it. Right? I
Hmm.
love everything about it. Love all the stuff that it can do for us, for me. But I hate everything about it too, because
Oh,
it's like because I don't hate it. I understand enough to be dangerous when it comes to punch this button and then that button and turn that dial and flip this switch. And I don't think we do any of that nowadays. But you know what I'm saying? The
right.
the Wayback Machine. It's like I if things start going wrong, I'm not real great at figuring out why did that go wrong and fixing it. So it took me, but the good news is this time that I couldn't travel. It allowed me to get research and to get better and to practice and to play and to take the leap. And I think that's the biggest thing, that I probably did that many haven't or didn't is
And they're
took the
gone
leap.
now, aren't they? I wanted to ask you, Randy, when you're back and you're traveling, after you were able to get back on the road, were there workplaces that you wanted to go to and they were just gone?
Uh, some, yes. Some, yes. My industry has a tendency to be very rural American oriented and old school oriented. So a lot of them just kind of continued to do business, but just they made some of the necessary changes to, you know, let people stand outside and do all those things, and
Right.
they kind of tended to stay in business. But even I'm finding as a little bit more of a old school industry to some degree that I grew up in. I'm still growing up, and I don't intend to grow up now because somewhere on Facebook I read once, but we know Facebook's always right, that if you haven't grown up by the time you're 60, you don't have to. So I'm done. You get what you get with me. But
Yeah, adulting is baloney. I don't bother.
it's a silly game. I'm just going to be. I think I've nestled in at around 12 and a half years old. That's my mentality, and I think that's pretty happy with that.
Well, you're a man, so
Yeah, that's what it's a best. That's the best you can hope to get from us.
that's right.
Yeah, give me my Tonka truck out back in the sand pile. I'm happy. But 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 you're right. Back to your question. Um, the other thing is, I saw a lot of people. I say a lot. There wasn't a lot, but a fair amount of people um, dabbled in doing a little bit more virtual, whatever that means, podcasting, getting on podcast, having your own, doing some video, doing whatever, until they could go back to the old way. So they never
Oh,
bought in
so
to
they didn't go any further. They didn't hybrid.
no,
Oh, that's too bad.
it is, and that's what I think my mission with the book and with stuff that I do on social and with talks I make, anything, anywhere, anytime I can get anybody to listen. My goal is to help anybody in the world of sales, especially, but whatever else, I guess whatever you're into, if it makes sense, is it doesn't do any good to learn it and to become good at it and to find out it works. But as soon as you get a chance to leave it and run and go back to the old way, because nothing about what I'm talking about in the book or what I talk about, period, says throw away all the stuff that used to work.
Right. That's
I'm
kind of
not,
like going back to your ex-wife. He says, "Oh, but I've changed."
yeah, yeah, yeah,
No, no, you
you
haven't.
have not. Exactly. So just take the stuff. And one of the biggest key takeaways that I want people to, I guess, understand is A, you can do it, but more importantly, um, I think in the world of virtual, use that as an overriding word. In the world of virtual, not only is it a force multiplier, but visibility equals opportunities, right? So you're developing opportunities you don't even know you're developing, but you have to be consistent and you have to be the same person you are, whether you're on screen, whether you're writing a book, whether you're out talking on a little stage someplace, or whether you're sitting in their office. You've got to be that same authentic, real, raw, organic, whatever word you want to use, right?
Well
Uh,
said.
Anything other than that will fail. You can't be, and we that's a term, right, Denise, the keyboard warriors, and we see them out there all the time.
Hmm.
But you can't be this uh, certain personality on a video or on a podcast or on a whatever and be totally different in person because it becomes A, disingenuous. Most people pick up on that right away. And B, none of us are smart enough to carry two different personas like that, right? You
Not
either
not unless we're drugged. No,
exactly, and then people pick up on that,
medicated.
and
Yeah,
plus
they
that's illegal
do.
most of the time. So,
They do.
uh,
And you. I was writing this down while you were talking. What's one lesson that in today's sales pros can't afford to ignore as they navigate this digital first landscape? And I think you're telling us. So keep going.
well, yeah, in today's world, you need to be out there, you need to be visible, you need to use all these tools that are there for you. But out of I think it's 7.9 to 8.5 billion people on the planet. I'm not sure anybody ever did an actual count, but whatever that number is, there's the one thing that you got going for you is that nobody zero can do you better than you do you, right? Nobody. And so stop trying to be what you think people want. Stop trying to fit in some niche someplace and just be you. Because if people decide they want to buy from Denise, guess what? I don't care how good I am. I'm never going to beat you at being you, right? Ever. No possible way. And so I think it's really important to develop those personal relationships via technology. And a lot of people say you can't do that, Randy. Well, I beg to differ
Oh,
completely.
yes, you can. Listen,
Yes.
you know me well. There are no pictures of me on the internet. There never have been. There never will be. I am a highly committed introvert. I'm not shy and I don't have any filters, but I am an introvert. I do everything online and the phone and through email. I'm digital 100%.
Yep.
And I've got a lot of people who trust me.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Well, and you've built that trust. And see, that's another thing. And I think it would be, since we both have an incredibly amazing mutual friend, Ben Gay III.
We
Um,
do.
and
And I have to tell the audience, we're
yes,
both in a race. It's a
yes.
foot race at the moment, but we're both writing books for the Closer series. And I'm not going to even ask you where you are with yours because I won't tell you where I am with mine, but
I know. Yeah, I
we're
know.
in a race.
We're in a race, and I've tried to get that out of you a couple times, and you never
I know.
respond back.
Nope.
You silly girl. I see your game.
Well, I do respond back. It's just not in a way that you would really
It
appreciate.
doesn't give me the answer I'm looking
No.
for. Well, but we are, and that's exciting. But one of the things that statement that we've all heard, and I love the way Ben put this years ago, is because we've always heard that people buy from who they know, like, and trust, right? And those
Hmm.
are three important factors. I love Ben's fourth one that he adds, which is and feel safe with, right?
Right.
And that is the key one. Not that the other by itself isn't very, very good, because it is, but that's the key factor right there that really uh, uh, sets you apart with your clientele, your customer base, your customer friends, as I like to call them, is they can like you, they can know you, they can trust you, but when all goes to crap on them, do they feel safe with you? Do they feel safe that
Yes.
they can take your word for whatever it is you said, and you're going to make it happen, or you're going to tell them it didn't happen and why it didn't happen and what you can do, but you're
Right.
going to be truthful with them, right? And I love that statement a lot. And thank you, Ben. That's a great one that'll live with me forever.
And they'll stick with you. And I have and I was thinking about you when I read this email this morning. I got an email from a client that I've worked with his brother for a decade. I do his social media. I've rebuilt his website multiple times, and I built the brother's website years ago. I had forgotten that I built it. It's been that long ago.
Mm.
And I got the most beautiful note from him this morning. He said, Denise, it's time to redo this. I want to move it. Just tell me what it's going to take and how much it'll cost. And I went, I'll be darned.
Yep.
I haven't
There you
spoken
go.
with him in years, but he knew to come back to me and that I would be fair with him.
And see, right there is the key. That right there is such a big key, because you developed so much of that know, like, trust, and feel safe with back in the day,
Yeah.
that it lasted years, right? And the opposite to that can be true as well. That's why we have to guard against that. If they don't know, like, trust, and feel safe with you, you'll never get that opportunity ever, no matter what. You can have the best price, the best product, the best service, the best everything, but if you don't meet those four, you're probably still not going to get the business in most cases, unless it's
Right.
just a
Right.
price deal, period. But so I think it's important, and that's a tribute to what you've done over the years of in your work, and I think it's a lesson that we can all learn from. Is just always, it's just a funny thing, but if we just always do the right thing for our people,
And be
uh,
you. You
yeah.
touched on this. Listen, I can't be bothered to try to be a different persona, Denise 1 and Denise 2. I'm too lazy for that. You get what you get. That's all there
Yeah,
is to
I
it.
would. I don't have a lot of my problem is I'm not smart enough to be too. You just get what you get. I mean, I'm sorry. I say sometimes, I'll tell people, and I don't mean this, because I am a very ethical, integrity driven. I believe that's like number one on what you do. But I tell people sometimes, look, I'm gonna give you the truth, not only just because I think I'm pretty ethical and integral based, but I'm not smart enough to remember 15 stories. So, I'm just going to give you the true story because that's just easier to remember. And I can go back and prove that one, right? I can go back and find that one. I'm not smart enough to remember what story I came up with 3 weeks ago to make you happy at the time. And then it doesn't work, it doesn't happen, and then you call me back. I'm not going to remember what that was, but I'll
No,
remember the truth, right?
exactly. That's exactly right. And you mentioned at the top of the show, you mentioned that there's a lesson from your father that you still use to build trust, even on Zoom. Let's talk about your dad.
Yeah. Well, so when it was funny when I got on with my marketing team, the Wolves, Victoria and Richard, the first thing they asked me was the why, right? Why are you writing this book? Why do you want to write this book? At that point, I'd already 90% wrote it with what to be written. Yeah, I should talk better. I'm an author, right? Anyway, with my editor.
I spell better than I speak, just so
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
again, we already clarified it. You get what I get. I say wrong words, and I said wrong words in my book. I can guarantee you, if you're an English major and that's important to you, read it with a filter because you're getting the real Randy.
Just read the
Period.
book. It's a great book.
Well, thank you. But I said the first reason was my dad. I wanted to write it as a dedication to him, even though he's been gone 30 years. I said, I will consider it a success. The competitive person that I am, I'm not sure I totally meant that when I said it, but I thought I did. Uh, if I print one book and lay it on my coffee table with the dedication of my dad and the stories early on from him, would have been a success, right? But the lessons, and I talk about it, at the start, growing up on the farm and in mid-Michigan, and some of the lessons I learned that I didn't know were lessons. I was always in this lesson mode. I just didn't know it at the time. My dad was very quiet, didn't say much, but when he spoke, you listened, or he made sure I listened. Because he would always ask, talk about in sales, always ask questions. He was great at probing questions like, does that make sense, Randy? Yep. Does it really make sense? What'd you get out of that? Now you're making me recite what you told me, and I hated that. But he made sure that I learned the lessons that he was instilling upon me at the time. But one of them was just, I talk about a story. I'll try to make this really quick, but I told you that he sold seed corn at the time, and we were planting our own field. Rain storms are coming for several days. We're trying to get the field done. My mom rang the dinner bell, so we always turned off the tractors and stuff when we at the end of the field so we could hear the dinner bell if there's an emergency or something. She rang the bell, so we jump in the pickup and drive back, and a neighbor customer, my dad's for seed corn, Walt, had called, and he ran out of seeds, and he's trying to get his field planted before the rains come in for several days. So Dad sends me out to the butler shed to start loading up the bags of seed. He comes out and writes up the order. We jump the truck pickup. We drive over to Walter's, and I'm making this a little shorter than I talk about it, and get him his seeds. He's really happy. We head on down the road, and we talked about on the way back. The lesson that I learned from that day was, I said, Dad, so we had to get our seeds planted too, and the rain's coming. And why did we do that? He says, because when Walt gave us his business as his seed dealer, we committed to always take care of him, good or bad. He needed us, and it was more important that we take care of Walt than our own needs at that particular point in time because we made that commitment.
I agree with your dad.
Yep. Again, I got does that make sense, son? I said, yep. And he goes, does it really make sense? Oh, here we go again. But anyway, I'm like, it did. And I'm talking about it today, 60 years later, right? It stuck with me. And that's just one of the many stories that over time, there's another one out in the bean field pulling weeds, and why are we doing that? There's some stories at the start, because what I wanted people to understand is there's a lot from the old that we can learn from, that we need to remember, that's important. All we're doing when we move into this new current era, if you will, of, because there is no new normal. Normal, that's a goofy word anyways. Normal is normal. That's whatever today is normal, right? Whatever we're doing now
Exactly.
is
Today
normal.
is not yesterday. It's not tomorrow. In fact, the end of the day may not be what you even thought it was going to be. Just
Exactly.
go with it.
It just is
You,
what it is right now, right?
you know what I hate, Randy? People will say, "Oh, I'm having such a bad day." I'm literal minded and cranky. So I will say, really, a bad day the whole day. And I make them break it out for me.
Mm-hmm.
So you had a bad 5 minutes and that to you is a bad day. I feel sorry for you.
Exactly. Exactly. Along that lines, Denise, I love that because I think I've said something to somebody once or twice, but I might have wrote a little blog about it somewhere. But don't let 20 minutes of suck between become 20 hours, 20 days, 20 weeks, 20 months, 20 years, right? It's 20 minutes of suck. That's it. Fix it
Exactly
the
right.
best you can.
Go
Even if
outside,
it's,
walk the dog, and get
yeah,
over it.
and even if it's unfixable and it's the most just screwed up, terrible little 20 minutes, you still got to walk away from it, right? Even if it's an unfixable 20 minutes, right? You broke your grandma's vase that she gave you when you were 7.
Ouch.
You can't fix it, right?
No, and
It's
Santa is
shattered.
going to give you coal.
Exactly. But my but my point is, do you gonna rest the next 40 years of your life is going to be miserable because you did that? You, you
Right.
you can't let that happen. And most people, like you said, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, it doesn't matter. You know, if things pretty well okay with you, you're loving life, you're loving what you do and doing what you love, then just handle it, put it away, good or bad, do the best you can, move on. Because otherwise, all you're going to do is everything compounds, right? Good things compound and bad things compound. And 5 minutes becomes 20 minutes, between 20 hours becomes 20 days. And there you go, right? Just easier said than done. Uh, but I think that's a great point, Denise. Is just no, you're not having a bad day. You had bad five
No.
minutes or 20 minutes or an hour, or whatever the case may be, right?
Unless you're in the middle of a flood and you're trying to rescue everybody for hours, then you're having a bad day. But
That is a fair bad
those,
day.
right, they just be fair with yourself. And I wanted to ask you, are there any moments, good or tough, since we're on that topic, that stand out on your journey? I mean, showing how your approach to relationships has led to real wins in business that you can share?
Well, I would share this. Um, I love the stick to itiveness that you have to have in the world of business because it's not all easy. It's a lot of people see business guys or salespeople and well, they're selling a lot of stuff and boy, look at them, blah blah blah. There's tough days, there's rough days, and stick to itiveness and continuing to do the right thing all the time. And I remember a story I like to tell, and this might not be a direct answer, but I think it's close. Um, I remember a customer now that, and they're in Central Ohio, and I do tons and tons and tons of business with. They've expanded, they've grown, great people. And but I remember when the original owner or founder of this company, many, many years ago, 20 years ago now, ish, probably. Um, I heard about this guy, small little business at the time, not small, small, but not big. And I heard about him out in the middle of rural Ohio. I decided I should probably go find this guy and see what we can do. And I wandered around up and down the country roads, couldn't find him. Asked a couple of farmers, stopped the post office, did everything. I can't find this guy. And there's a point in time where I said, you know what? Screw it. You know what? I'm not wasting any more time. I'm going to go to the hotel bar and have a burger and fries and a couple of Cabernets and call it a night. If I can't find him, nobody's going to find him. I'm not doing this anymore. All those negative talk garbage. But I said, that's not what my dad would have done.
No, you try
Back to
one more
lesson.
time.
You try one more time. I
Right.
saw a farmer. I waited till he got to the end of the field and he come over and I told him what I was looking for. Oh yeah, yeah, you got it's a road's hard to find. It only goes one way. He gave me the details, right? Walk in, this guy's sitting there by himself in this little building behind his desk. We talked for an hour and a half, 2 hours. That started a relationship where every time I stop in to see him, as he grew, we'd go have lunch, we'd ride around, look at buildings and roofs and all that stuff that's probably boring to a lot of people, and became incredibly good friends and became just a lifelong great customer. And it's all because didn't give up, Remember what my
Right.
dad said is one more time. And I think it's important to if it's something you want, you just can't every time you run into a little bit of a brick wall, you can't just go, okay, well, screw it, I'm gonna go sit down now. I'm done. You got to keep moving
No.
forward. You got to find new ways. And this particular way was, um, I'm not. There's something here more important to me. I knew in the back of my head than just going to the hotel bar and having a burger and a wine or something, right? I mean, there's something bigger and more
Yeah.
important. That
And
I'll
it
do
doesn't
later.
hurt to be pig-headed either.
No, exactly.
I can tell you there are many times, and my office is in my home, so I don't get too far away from it. But if I told myself I was going to do something and it's written down on one of my index cards and it didn't get done, I have been known way too many times to at midnight jump out of bed, go back in here and get it done. I can't
Hmm.
stand it.
Yes, yes. I've learned with that. I drive myself nuts at night sometimes because there's something that pops in my head that I want to do, important to do in my mind, and I can't go back to sleep until I write it down. So I write it down
Hmm.
on my phone. I in my notes and stick it in there. In my notes, a little couple detail sentence or two. Now I'll go to my calendar with a reminder, 8:30 with a reminder, check notes. So then I know, okay, now I won't forget this. And because I'll drive myself nuts if I don't do that. That's
I email myself a lot.
yeah,
It's,
I like
I'll
it.
see Denise Griffitts. Denise, oh, geez, her again? You know, but,
Tired of this person. They're a pain.
yeah, I
Uh,
don't like her.
oh man. But it's all about, I think a key thing is, and you and I both do it, is we do love what we do and do what we love. And I think that's important. It's tough to spend years and decades doing stuff that you hate. And you got to find a way to love it or find something else. But you need to be, because you talk about life balance. My balance is, there is no balance and there's full balance all at the same time. I'm in and out of life activities and work activities. So I don't look at it as work. It's just part of my life. It's all one thing. You know, I'm I'm in this game fully, and enjoy every second of it. Even the bad parts, you just, again, you shake your head and you go, okay, that wasn't fun. But you lose a customer or something. Something goes wrong that you couldn't control. Well, you can let that destroy your life or your day, or you can look at it as 5 minutes of suck and punch a wall and throw a stone and then figure out what happened. And either you can go back and fix that one, or if you just can't, what are you going
Sometimes
to do?
it's best to walk off, say, listen, thank you, but I got
Yep.
to go now. I
Yep.
mean, I've had a client that I tried to fire twice before it took. And only then after I said, don't call me again, ever.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
meant it too.
Yep.
I
Hey,
wanted to ask you,
yes.
tell me about a challenging customer who eventually became a raving fan, because I was thinking of one person in particular, and I said, don't ever call me again. And I meant it. But oddly enough, I mean, we had a horrible business relationship. He was an odd duck, but I had already, told him he could come on my podcast before I realized that I couldn't stand him. And he got this little voice. He said, am I still invited? I said, well, yes. I said, you could and you will. After that, he loved me. Go figure.
Ah,
So, but I
there you
wasn't
go.
going to go back on my word. I really couldn't tolerate him very well, but turned out it was a great interview.
Ah,
You
sure.
just never know. My point, Randy, and I think what you're trying to tell us too is get out of your own way.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. You've got to get out of your own way. The person that'll do you the most harm and create the most issues for you is not your competitor, not your manufacturer, not the economy, not the market, not anything. It's yourself.
Right.
I mean, these things don't, I don't want anybody to say, yeah, you're full of crap, Randy. All those things have a play in it, a big part. But the end of the day is, how do you react to it, and yourself? And we sometimes have a tendency to be our own worst enemy a lot. And we decide we're going to lose something that we won't lose if we just go into it with the right attitude and the right mindset and the ability to be agile and uh, to jump sideways a little bit if we need to. It's kind of the old, you know, if you keep walking into a brick wall all day long, and because just irritated with life and the world and not paying attention, but there's like around the corner, there's a door. If you just look, pay attention.
Right.
Maybe I'll
Take a
just go
deep
open it.
breath, go do
Yeah,
something different for a little bit, just
yep.
10
And
minutes,
and
15 minutes, and then you'll feel better.
exactly, exactly. But you asked a question. I'll give you a real short one here about a customer that I had a customer that now is an incredibly great customer friend of mine, buys tons of stuff from me because I'm a multiple line rep, so I handle multiple manufacturers. And he buys stuff from all my manufacturers. Real short, years and years and years and years ago, one of my product lines, he was happy where he's at. He was content. That happens. Good for you. But I kept coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back. Finally, like 4 or 5 years into it, he finally just said one day, he says, so is that quote still good that you gave me, that you sent me a bike 3 or 4 weeks ago? I said, you mean the one you didn't ask for? He goes, yeah, that one. I said, yep, it sure is. And he goes, I think it's time. I said, time for
Oh,
what? And he goes, I think it's time we do some business together. I said, perfect. Love it. Thank you. But I said, I hate to be a look a gift horse in the mouth kind of person, but I need to know what changed
yeah.
just for my own
Why?
good.
What happened?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, here's the deal. I was doing business. Everything was fine, but I was doing business with this company and never saw anybody, including the rep, for years and years and years. Maybe an email now and then, maybe whatever. He says, I see you more in a year than I've seen these people in 5. And
Oh,
and so that tells me that, unless you're just going to turn around and walk away after you get the business, but I don't think so. I
so
said,
he felt like he was being taken for granted, and he
exactly.
was.
And he was. And so so I made it a point with him, but no, I say I make it a point with him. If I was really smart, I would have. But the reality is I don't separate customers by type, size, or anything else. I mean, if you're a customer friend, you're a customer friend. You're going to get the
Right.
Randy period. Whether you buy, $10 from me or, $20 million, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you need me, I'm going to take your call. Right. If you need me to come see you, help you with the problem, see a customer for you, with you, you're going to get that. Because I think when you start dividing those into, well, it's not worth my trip to go see this guy because he only does X. What you're forgetting is maybe his X is all he has. So you're getting 100% of what he can give you. And if you stay with this guy or gal long enough, when they grow, you're going to grow your own share of wallet with them just because they continue to grow and you've helped them grow. So help grow your own business by helping them grow their business. And also, the more what I want to say, the more detail oriented you are with them, the more you spend time with them, you find that an area that I think is incredibly important for us salespeople is get more of their share of wallet. Right? We all spend a lot of time, and importantly, looking for on prospecting for that new business. Right? And prospecting is a big, big part of the game, and it has to be done. But it's also takes a lot of time, and the cost of acquisition can be quite high in both time and money, and years of stuff to get to that point. Still a very important part. The part that we forget about, I think, is the share of wallet. Are we getting the full share of wallet from this customer? Are there products that we already have this relationship with this guy or gal? We've been doing business with them for years. Are there things that they're not buying from me
Because they
because
don't know you have it.
they don't know I have it?
I knew
And
it.
that's on me. That's on me. What is it that you're not? And sometimes it's a matter of I have it. You just didn't know I had it. Or it could be as simple, Denise, as I didn't ask you.
Right.
So would you consider buying this for me? Because I do have it. Well, I guess I could. Well, then you give them all the reasons why, do one invoice, one PO, one receivables, yada, yada, yada. You got one person to call and yell at when it goes bad. That's me. Um, but we simply don't ask. We don't investigate. And also, is there a product? I like the question sometimes. I can't guarantee you because I don't pull all the strings. I'm not the Oz behind the curtain. But if what product would you buy from me that I don't have if I could find it to get it? I can't
Oh,
guarantee you.
I
Or
can
what
source it and we can talk.
we'll talk about it. I'll take it to my people. I'll take it to my
Right.
manufacturers and say, hey, I think there's an opportunity here. I'll go do the extra homework and say, well, if you would like this, there's probably a whole bunch of my other customers that would buy this if I had it as well. So then you go decide, okay, you go talk to 10 people, and then you go back to your, like say, a supplier manufacturer you work for or with, and say, hey, I think there's an opportunity here. Now I did my homework. What do you think? Is there a way we could possibly do this? Um, and so I think we get complacent as salespeople sometimes, and complacency is one of the death knolls of a successful sales career. Is we take things for granted, we get complacent, and we take, well, this guy does a lot of business with me. Great, but what if he could do a
Yeah.
lot times two because we
Right.
didn't
And but
ask?
you're at the same time you're thinking, well, he does a lot of business. He's steady, he's stable. I need new customers.
Right.
And
And the
that's a
best,
boo-boo, isn't it?
it is a boo boo because and they have to be simultaneous. So you see anybody that's big on the and talk and write about and preach the prospecting part of that. I don't want them to get mad at me because I'm not saying that's an equally important part, but at the same time we get lost in. You can't get lost in both. You got to be involved in both, not lost on one or the other. You can't be just prospecting. I don't care whatever they give me, I'll take, and that's it. I'm going to go look for new customers.
Right.
Equally, you can't just be prospecting new customers forever, not taking care of the customers you have and not trying to get the share of wallet, because that's a win-win, and you got to present it that way. It's a win-win for that customer too, because you only have one PO to write instead of two. You only have one receivable, right? You only have one sales rep to talk to if you can get all these in a bundle, right? So there's an advantage to the customer to bundle or to give you that share wallet. And many times it's just a matter of asking, is there a reason? Maybe the price is not there. Maybe we never priced him right to begin with because we didn't think we had an opportunity. Well, maybe here's the opportunity. Let's look at the numbers. Let's see where we're at. If we can ship it with a bunch of other stuff, maybe I can adjust a little bit. Whatever the rules of the engagement are there, you can really bump up your income and your sales dollars, top end, bottom end, if you go after share wallet. And the key to that is share wallet is, from a cost standpoint, is almost zero because you already have the business. You've already done all that upfront work. You already have a relationship. They already know, like, trust, and feel safe with you, right? You don't have to go through all of that for weeks, months, and years. That's already there, right? So just let's talk about what business we're not doing together. And the cost, again, you don't have the 14 different dinners and drinks and the all the stuff that goes with prospecting. That cost has already been done because you've already invested that time for 8, 9, 10, 20, 30 years. Who knows how long it's been? We're just simply not asking the question. And in many cases, that's the case. So it's again back to old school, new school. It's the same thing when it comes to share wallet and prospecting. They're both equally important. They both have to be done, and they need to be done on a daily basis. That's
I have to
my
tell
take.
you, share wallet, thank you. Share wallet is not something that I have heard much, if anything, about, and I've written it down several times. So I'm going to be sending you questions.
You do that. I'll answer. If I don't know, I'll just make it up because you won't know any different,
Yes,
right?
I will. I will
Yeah.
talk to Uncle Chat. He'll
Oh,
tell
Uncle Chat will
me.
tell you, unless you've made him mad, and
Yeah, well,
he'll tell
that
you to
was
go away
last
for a
week. We're
while.
all good now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then, until the next time.
Well, and there will be a next time. I don't have the best of tempers. We all
Yeah.
know this.
Yeah.
But we are running out of
Yes.
time.
Yes, we are.
I need for you to come back. And I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but I'm booked now through February of 2006, which I find bizarre, but I am
Wow.
booked all the way through the beginning
Well,
of the new year. But I do want you to come back because things will have grown exponentially.
let's do it.
Yeah, the book will be, and we'll both have our new books out,
Yes, we will.
and we'll have a lot to talk about. So, and I'm doing this on the radio, so you can't tell me no.
That's true. I'm in. But see, here's the deal. Somebody asked me the other day if I'd like to give a talk on something someplace. And I said, have you ever met a Mike I don't like, as in MIC?
Yeah,
What do you want me? Do you want to know what it's about? No, not really. It doesn't matter.
I
Yeah,
can do it.
whatever you got. I never say no on certain things. So absolutely, I'd love to come back.
I wanted to ask you if you had any final thoughts or insights, and where can people find you? Where can they find your book?
Love it. If final words is yes, I think it's a book. It was written, Denise, as a playbook, not as actually it's in the subtitle. That's pretty handy, but it's really a little bit of my story. It's a playbook that you can, there's no fluff, there's no filler, there's no gobbledygook, there's not a how-to, internet for dummies, none of that kind of stuff. It's just an old school road warrior that learned to hybrid himself into a new school and combine the two together. I feel good about the book. A lot of people that's read it think it's done well. I like it. I think it is. I think people will learn something from it because it's an easy read. So yeah, I would love to have people grab a copy. It's available several ways, either on Amazon, the typical, the ebook, the soft and hardcover via Amazon, just Asphalt and Algorithms or my name. It's available if you prefer to buy it at BarnesandNoble.com. It is available there. And if anybody would be silly enough to think they might want an autograph copy, signed copy, it's available at ibuyfromrandy.com. That's my website, ibuyfromrandy.com. They can go there. It's right on the front page. Click order a book, and I'll sign it and send it out directly. Also on that page, there's some bundle opportunities. I've had several people already take advantage, Denise, which is really cool. Have ordered at a discount, some multiple copies to give to their sales team or their marketing team. What really cool thing is I've got a distributor that I'm going to be going in November to do a talk on the book after their sales team reads the book. So, that's nice. A cool thing too. So
very nice.
So yeah, that's really it. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, or ibuyfromrandy.com if you'd like a signed copy and or bundles. So that's it. That's the easy way.
And I have to tell you, when the book landed, and it is autographed, thank you for that. I always read books from my guests, always. I'm one of the few podcasters that actually reads and reviews the books, apparently. And that's a whole nother story, but I want to pinch heads when I find out they got the book and didn't read it.
Right.
But I was thumbing through it. When it lands here, I do the book flip, like, ooh, and I start putting stickies in there, come back, and then I read it a couple more times before we get on the show. And I was so happy to see my own name in there. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, of course. I appreciate you, and I appreciate, and I'm glad you brought that up. I appreciate you doing a praise for the book, an endorsement, whatever you want to call it. I appreciate the quite a long time friendship already, and I mean, you're a machine. I love what you do.
Not human.
You're not human. You're a bot. I know what it is, Denise the bot.
I'm convinced that I'm descended from aliens. I am absolutely convinced. Well, listen, Randy, thank you for being here, and I really appreciate the book, and I can't wait for you to come back in the new year. And friends, I hope you found as much value in Randy's stories and strategies as I did. At the end of the day, sales is about people, building trust, showing up, and keeping those connections strong. Don't disappear. That's, I think, what we're really talking about here. Whatever the circumstances are, don't disappear. And if you'd like to dive deeper, I strongly encourage you to pick up Randy's book, Asphalt and Algorithms. Ooh, I did it. And you can find it on Amazon, as he just mentioned. And of course, do stay tuned for more conversations right here on your Partner in Success Radio. This is Denise Griffitts. And thank you for listening, and I will see you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you so much, Randy. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you.
Get your voice heard. If you would like to launch your own far-reaching podcast, contact Denise Griffitts at yourofficeontheweb.com and go to the podcast tab.